Hello, Chavre, how are you? I hope everyone is gesund, stark, und freilich, begashmis und beruchnis. Everyone is healthy, strong, and happy, physically and spiritually. Hashem should help that all those that need a refuah shlema should be healed immediately, and the magefa should stop now. This week's parsha is Baha'altha. Baha'altha es haneros. Kindle the lamps. So the concept is that we illuminate, and how the light of the Mishkan and the Beis HaMikdash goes out to the world and illuminates the world as is also a force of positivity, and it elevates and lifts up the world. So, as usual, we'll start with the pasuk in the Rebbe's new kapitel, and that is the pasuk Kuf Nun Aleph. Korev ato adinoi v'chol mitzvosecha emes. Hashem, you are near, and all of your commandments are truth. So Hashem is near, which means similar to the pasuk Ki kori velecha hadavar miyoid beficha b'vavcha l'seisei. Torah mitzvahs, the right path, the right way is near. It's within your reach. You just have to look, and you shall find. And this is what the pasuk means. Korev, the truth, light, as we'll discuss today, is more powerful. So therefore, the truth, divinity, Hashem, light, which is the good, is near. It's always there. It's always present. It's always powerful. You just have to tap into it. And v'chol mitzvosecha emes, the same thing. If we talk about truth, like we spoke many times, is everlasting. So therefore, it's there. Wherever you're going to look, it's there. And it's present, and it will withstand whatever is opposition. And Rashi actually says over here, Korev ato l'rechoikim halolu, even to those distant ones, hamisarachkim miteiroscha, that distance themselves from the Torah, im yeshuvim midarkom, as soon as they become serious and they want to change, Hashem is there, near to them. So if we talk about light, we have to explain a very important point, which the Alter Rebbe discusses in chapter 12 of the Tanya, and he explains a verse that Shlomo HaMelech, the wisest of all men, said, v'raisi sheyesh yisrael l'chacham min hasichlos. He said, then I saw that wisdom surpasses folly, ki yisrael ha'or min ha'choshech, as light surpasses darkness. And there's two questions here that are obvious questions. First of all, Shlomo HaMelech, who's the ultra super genius, he's the one has to say v'raisi, and I saw that light is better than darkness. Of course light is better than darkness. And then what's the comparison that he says that light is better than darkness as wisdom is better than folly? So the Alter Rebbe explains that what we're talking about over here is a profound statement concerning evil and concerning good. So Shlomo HaMelech is telling us a lesson that's important for every single day of our lives. He's not saying, V'ra'isi, and I saw sheyesh Yisrael, that one is better. That Yisrael l'chacham and asichlos, chacham over here goes on holiness. Holiness over the force of evil, ki Yisrael and achosech, as light is better than darkness. He doesn't mean better. He means the manner how one is superior. And the Alter Rebbe says as follows. I'm going to read you his words. Perush kamoisha oir, yesh lo yisrei no shlita mamshala ala choshech. Just like light is superior over darkness, shema'at oir gashmi, that a bit of physical light, doicha harbe min hachoshech, that it banishes a great deal of darkness. And how does it banish it? Shenitcha mimenu me'ela v'mimela, it just dispels it automatically. So we say, ma'at oir, a bit of light, doicha harbe choshech, dispels much darkness. That's number one. And then, how does it dispel it? It's not that we have two forces and they're going to have a wrestling match and we don't know what's going to happen. No, just light a match. Light one match in the darkness, and that one match will illuminate immensely. So this statement is quoted in some different ways. Sometimes we say, Ma'at or deich har b'choshech, as we said before, I've heard people say it. All the darkness in the world cannot extinguish one match, one candle. So there could be an entire world which is absolute darkness, and still that candle will shed much light and banish much darkness. And how? Just automatically turn on the light. And this was true concerning many instructions from the Chabad Rebbes, Nesiim, starting from the Alter Rebbe, the Mittel Rebbe, the Tzemach Tzedek. By Chabad, and we once discussed this before, there was the method called Or, light, connected to the Chatchila Rebbe. But just today I was reading a talk of the Frierdiker Rebbe where he says, Shtel zich hecher, vestu werden hecher, which means rise above it and you become elevated. That's what it means when we say turn on the light, rise above it. Or lig in hecher in yanim, immerse yourself in higher things, in loftier things. So the Rebbe gave a certain answer thousands of times, which was called Hesech Hadas. And he explained what he meant was you have to learn how to divert your attention, change channels. So it doesn't make a difference. The Rebbe used this in so many different circumstances. People were worried, people had anxiety, people had different issues of tensions and stress and pressure. And so many times, I cannot tell you, the Rebbe would answer these two words, Hesech Hadas, which means put your mind in another place. So, and he connected it also usually with what he says here, put your mind in another place in general, think about something else, but in particular, think about words of Torah, Tefillah, which is connected to the spiritual light, and that spiritual light will illuminate you and be a force of positivity and deal and calm the anxieties and the tensions, etc. So, this is an important lesson. So many times you're dealing with a person, they're going through a struggle, particularly a spiritual struggle, and they don't know, or they feel they have a doubt who's going to win. They feel that the other side, their nefesh habahamis, their addictions, or their habits are too powerful and very deeply ingrained. Like we said, temperament, disposition, character, these are very deep things, and they're connected to genes. So what we have to know, and here comes Shlomo Melech. Shlomo Melech, the wisest of all men, has to tell us this general, all-embracing lesson, which is important to every single day of our lives, that there's no such a thing as really two forces. The other side has no substance. It's like darkness. What's darkness? Hasidic thought talks about the idea of darkness and says darkness is not a real metzius. It's not a real entity. What is darkness? The absence of light. So in other words, it doesn't really have substance. Turn on truth, turn on light, and then the darkness will be dispelled automatically. Now, just to realize how fundamental and essential this lesson is, we have the famous story everyone knows of Bibi Netanyahu addressing the General Assembly of the UN a couple of years ago. And he said that it was 1984. He came to visit the Rebbe on the night of Simchas Torah. And the Rebbe, and that was when he was appointed to be the Israel's ambassador to the United Nations. And the Rebbe told him, you will be in a house of lies. The Rebbe called the UN, it'll be a house of many lies. And the Rebbe told him that you should remember, and I'm quoting the way Bibi said the story, that the Rebbe told him, remember, even in the darkest of places, the light of a single candle can be seen far and wide. So this is the message. Korev Hashem. Light is easy in a certain sense. Why? Because we're saying that's the thing that's real. That's the thing that has substance. And we can't compare what ma'at or deichar b'choshech. All the darkness in the world cannot extinguish one light. And Bibi Netanyahu heard this in 1984, 20 plus years later. This inspired him and this gave him the strength, facing the entire world, to quote the Lubavitcher Rebbe and tell them all that I would like to be, with the blessings and with the words and the wisdom that I receive from the Rebbe, I would like to be that single light which will be seen far and wide. So the Eibusha should help. We should all be neiros lahoyer, lamps that illuminate. And we should always remember, there's no such a thing as another force. There's nothing that has any substance that's outside of Torah and mitzvahs and elikus. And the Eibusha should help that through our doing the job of illuminating the world, we should come to the days of Mashiach when it will be only light. Amen. Reporting from my home, Be'ez Hashem Yisborech, your man in Melbourne.